Now, one of the joys of 90s music was the Britpop explosion, where real music seemed to emerge once again from the synthesized 80s. One such group, and a favourite of mine, were Kula Shaker. They gained prominence with their debut album K, released in 1996, which spawned the hits like Tatva and Govinda. The band's sound is characterized by a fusion of traditional Indian music, psychedelic rock and Britpop influences. The lyrics often explore spiritual and philosophical themes, drawing inspiration from Eastern spiritualism and mysticism. And while they achieved commercial success in the late 1990s, the band went on a hiatus in the 2000s before reuniting and releasing new music in the following years. More recently, they began to release music on a more regular basis again, with a double album and right proper mouthful, First Congregational Church of Eternal Love and Free Hugs, in 2022. I'm really happy to say that their new album was released on the 26th of January, and at the time of recording is poised to enter the UK album charts in a really lofty position. There are 13 tracks lasting 43 minutes or so, released on the self-funded Strange FOLK record label. Now, it marks a reunion of the classic lineup from '98, with Jay Darlington returning to the keyboards following stints with each of the Gallagher brothers in the interim. It's hailed as a dream come true for Shaker fans. So the lineup is Crispian Mills on guitars and vocals, Alanosa Bevan on bass and vocals, Jay Darlington on keyboards and Paul Winterhart on drums. The content is a mixture of rock, psychedelia and Indian influences, which are trademark of this band. Side 1 starts with Gaslighting, which is a powerful and thought-provoking song that resonates with Hughes straight away. It's right out of those Britpop days and serves as a reminder to trust our instincts and recognise manipulative behaviour when we see it. Waves sees Crispian Mills wrap his vocals around the melody, infusing it with a joyful and buoyant energy. The song blends elements of psychedelic rock again, folk and Indian influences, and it features mesmerising melodies and intricate instrumentation. The title track, Natural Magick, captures the essence of mysticism and musical exploration, blending Western and Eastern influences this time. It's a standout piece on the album, inviting listeners to embrace the magic with the music, and that funk backbeat going on is just so infectious. Indian Record Player celebrates the magic of Indian cinema and music. It transports listeners to a colourful world of retro Bollywood melodies, invoking melodies of classic films and dance sequences. Paying homage to Bollywood icons R.D. Burman and Asha Parekh, it blends Western rock with Indian influences and creating a vibrant and nostalgic sound. The chorus is one I guarantee you will be singing by the end of the day for sure. Chiraliya, You Stole My Heart, is a love song in two halves, with the first part devoted to some traditional Indian singing by the wonderful Laboni Barua. It's got a spaghetti western feel to it, particularly with that Mexican trumpet. It just needed the sound of gunshots for the picture to be complete. Crispian takes over the vocals in English as the track gets more poignant for the story of love and longing. A quite delightful and unexpected track. The next track can only be described as a meeting of Simon Garfunkel versus India, in what is quite a spectacular surprise in an album that I'm beginning to like more and more with each track. The closest analogy I can give is it's like a Far Eastern version of Mrs. Robinson, especially with the Mills vocals double-tracked. There are shades of the Kinks in there as well, and I just can't get away from the immense pleasure I had listening to this particular track. It's a bright, cheerful, sing-along type of track that just gets your feet tapping. It's all about being stoned, and that sums up the track for me. Stay With Me Tonight is a slow ballad with heavy country influences, with Laboni again helping in the harmonies. The guitar of Mills appears to pay tribute to the Stones' Keith Richards, with that distinctive twang in between the action. The lull of the organ is very Faces sounding from back in the day to add extra flavour. I needed this breather after the exertions of the last couple of tracks, I tell you that. Happy Birthday begins with the sound of prayers to Salah being recited before a sitar-led melody is introduced, and the vocals of Mills appear to be sung in a quite a distorted manner. The organ plays a classic-sounding tune, and then the chorus kicks in. It's a very religious theme track with the vocals of Laboni utilised again. It's a song of praise, of worship, of attempting to be at one with one's maker. Now, not surprisingly, I Don't Want to Pay My Taxes, or one word, no spaces, sees Crispian deliver a tirade of statements that seem to be at the top of all our agendas at present. I don't want to pay my taxes, pay for World War III. I want trains to run on time, and above all, the feeling of being part of the slave labour, he sings. I suppose it's the song so many of us want to sing in these troubled times, and it's delivered in a style reminiscent of 10cc at their very, very best in the early 70s. Now, F-Bombs is a song that does its title full justice. Now, following on from that previous track, this one is a clear anti-war message in it and highlights the fears and frustrations felt by so many of us at the moment. For those of a delicate disposition where extreme swearing is used, may be better placed playing this track on mute, but for me, in its context, it's therefore acceptable. Mills introduces the track in a spoken rap-style drawl with a real funky background to it before launching into the tirade. Now, I like the track as it has that pertinent message affecting us all. There's a glorious 70s fuzzy guitar riff going through it as well. Whistle and I will come as a heartfelt track about the loss of a loved one. It starts with a whistle, not surprisingly, and introducing the track in that spaghetti western style that was used earlier, before settling into an easy bass rhythm guitar-led melody with lyrics continuing that feeling of loss. California Blues begins with an amusing aeroplane stewardess message for the plane returning to the UK from America, before the band takes over and an interesting song begins. It's got a Beatles feel to it, with that Indian feel again present, but some interesting guitar riffs that I feel George would probably have been proud of. It isn't a love song of a holiday romance that Mills appears to have felt getting too serious. It's got a real happy, clappy feel to it, but it's very enjoyable indeed. And just as we begin, the album ends with Give Me Tomorrow, and it's a ballad in all its best doo-wah traditions. It is a total departure from what has come before on this excellent album. That Beatles feel continues, and I'm immediately drawn to This Boy from back in the day with a super soaring arrangement to ham the performance up to its fullest. It's a celebratory track that features the very best in a relationship that means effort and thought are rewarded with a feel-good end to the proceedings. For me, this is a really bright and exciting album from one of the best bands that emerged from the 90s, and one that I urge you to add to your collection. Whilst not strictly 100% capital P progressive rock, there's more than enough variety in there to keep anyone's interest on the go. The writing styles of Mills and Bevan is both unique but also very effective and catchy, and makes the finished product highly desirable. My recommendation is quite clear. This should be in your collection whether you are a prog aficionado or simply a lover of classic rock music. It's simply a very good album. Now, if you have enjoyed this video, thanks for staying this far, and make sure you like the video and consider sharing with others of a like mind. Don't miss out on new releases to the channel by activating the subscribe button, and by clicking the bell icon you will get a reminder as well. That's my preferred setting on my favourite channels. Now, down in the description box you will find a host of fascinating information, from purchasing links for this album to ways to contact me, as well as how you can help me out on the channel. Now, I look forward to your company next time on the Album Review channel. Bye for now.